Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time once again for another episode of the RAAD Life. The one show, the only show that shows you the good life, the life people live in all over town with our resident raconteur and resident storyteller, Rad Gantos, and his friends that he brings in from all over these things. But today, where is Rad?
Where is Rad?
I don't know. It's like that where is Waldo thing.
We don't know having a Rad moment somewhere.
So today, as before, we have a guest host. Chef Pascal is with us today here. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. It's good to be here, and we have a very special guest today. And actually, I brought Anne, that's Anne Tammel, and that sounds French, but apparently it's not French, but it's French enough for me. And we know each
Everything's French for you.
Français.
Yeah, and we know each other for a long time, but I invited her a little bit for myself because I want to know more about what she accomplished, what she's doing in Orange County, because I know she's done a lot, even for me and for the hospitality community.
And let's move the mic a little bit closer to your face. I like that. There we go.
So before the show, I always ask the guests for the biography or resume, and the resume was so long. We asked her for a shorter one.
We can't read it all.
We can read all. It was like a chapter of a book, and she's done so many things, so many accomplishments, and
Well, just coming in, I said, what are we here to talk about? And she said, well, could be this, could be this, could be this. And I said, well, let's pick a couple of those. I don't know if we can do all of them here today. Mostly she's here because of this upcoming, is it Women in Business Forum that's going to be held here by the Orange County chapter of SCORE, and the Women in Business, is it council or initiative that you are fortunate enough to chair there?
Yes, it's the Women in Business Initiative for SCORE Orange County.
and can you tell us what SCORE is briefly?
Yes, SCORE is a nonprofit organization, and we serve small businesses and entrepreneurs to basically, we give them the community and the mentoring at no charge and the guidance they need. We offer workshops, everything they need to really take their business dream and turn it into a reality.
And so it is for first-time entrepreneurs?
Yes, or if you have a business and you're struggling and you just don't know how to get it off the ground, you're an ideal candidate.
And it is mostly for female entrepreneurs?
No, it's all small businesses, entrepreneurs, inventors come to us.
Yes.
They're a lot of fun to work
And
with.
who makes up SCORE? SCORE's funded what, by the SBA?
The SBA, yes.
So the Federal Small Business Administration funds this thing. And you're one of these programs where you go out and solicit and find really high caliber talent, mostly retired talent, right?
Mostly, but we have all kinds of fascinating mentors who bring talent and wisdom from different industries and backgrounds. And
Are you a speaker yourself?
yes, I
Great.
am.
All right, wonderful.
So they collect all these people who've held high-powered positions or run their own businesses or done a whole realm of business expertise. And the idea is you come into SCORE. Usually it seems to be mostly people who are starting a business, where to launch, how to write a business plan.
By the way, the third voice you hear is Paul. He's a producer.
Yes, exactly.
That's
I'm going to
not-
interject periodically here
that's-
because I'm actually very aware of what
That's fine.
SCORE does, and I don't think enough people know about what you do.
Yes, I
Yes.
think that's why she's here, and I want people to know more about what they mean or what's our involvement. But you study and start working in Silicon Valley, I guess.
Yes, that was I was born and raised in San Jose.
Okay.
So
Well,
yes.
No bad place for what you do.
Yeah, it's
I'm going to give Chef Pascal one more time. Just move the mic back further. Yeah, there you go, like that. We're losing you as you're leaning in to engage with her here.
So you brought a little bit Silicon Valley into Orange County, and actually, I guess it's working. We have more and more young entrepreneurs or people who are willing to take risks because they have some great ideas. Is that correct?
Yes. So I'm very much a child of the Silicon Valley. I learned PR and strategy from Andy Cunningham, the woman who launched Steve Jobs and the Macintosh.
Wow.
And so the standard and the spirit I bring to my work and to my clients very much reflects my early upbringing. And so I love to work with entrepreneurs. They're some of my favorite people.
Are you selective? Do you meet your I won't say your client, but the people you're going to mentor? You want to make sure they have passion enough and to succeed, or you just try to give them the passion?
You can't give someone passion. You can't give someone a vision. And when they come to you with one and they come to you with a level of dedication that you bring to it, that's where something is, the magic is possible.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to work with clients who aren't passionate about what they're doing because they can maybe get this far,
Yeah.
but when they have a vision and they have the determination and hard work, they can do something like maybe you've accomplished.
Well, I have to say, really, the first time to become an entrepreneur is the time to put all your passion into it. And you have more passion at that time because you haven't been through the ups and downs, and you just go, and you just put everything on the table, open all the doors, and because you have that energy and passion. And then down the road, you have to learn from your mistakes. And then,
But here's one of the things I've learned from groups like SCORE, or we do one for the SBDC, Small Business Development Center, similar thing that handles different, helps businesses grow, funded by the government, is just because you're a passionate cook doesn't mean you know how to do payroll. Doesn't know how
Yes.
you have to do supply, budgeting, and all sorts of other things. And too often we get into these businesses. I was guilty of that. I love radio, so I'm going to do that. What do I know about running a business? I know about radio.
well, it's all about having a great team around you.
Yeah. And in the beginning, it's just the entrepreneur quite often. So there is no team. So how do you find, this is like a free team of advisors, marketing, business, financial, branding, HR, all these things that maybe you don't have the expertise or don't know anybody that does it.
Well, that's what you call that experience,
Yeah.
and it takes years to get there. But you are there to help to make sure. So what would be a young person who has a great idea and you believe in it, and what would be the first suggestion for that person to put them or put her or him on the right track?
Is this in regards to SCORE or just how to take
In
your...
regard to creating a new business.
Usually when I work with young entrepreneurs, I start with a lean canvas, which is the modern business plan, which used to be 30 pages. And now this is a one-page model of your business and all of the critical elements that go into making your business work. And so whereas old business plans, one thing would change and you'd have to throw them away because they'd be obsolete.
Yeah.
Having spent thousands of dollars on them, you can work on this and you can work on it with your mentor at SCORE to look at all of the different elements as they relate to one another, and they shift as one thing. Your customer segment changes, so does your marketing strategy, and so does your cost change. So you can very quickly modify this and pivot.
So you have several people who can mentor others.
Yes.
And who do you pick who goes helping this entrepreneur or this entrepreneur? You have to. Sometimes you need to have that little connection.
How do you match them when somebody comes into
Yeah.
SCORE and applies for something, some help? How do you decide? Because you got first of all, how many people have you got in this? Yours is just the Orange County chapter. This is a nationwide thing. How many people are what do you call them? Consultants for you or advisors?
Advisors, business mentors. We have a couple hundred.
Couple hundred to choose from, right? That's what I'm saying. Not
And-
just a handful.
Yeah, so you can go on and you can browse and find, choose your own mentor, or you can be matched. And we have a very sophisticated matching system, and people take the request, or and they actually
Does it
match
work
you.
the other way too? Does some mentors say, "I'm going to help that entrepreneur," say, and that you connect with somebody who want to either get better in their business or start a new business.
I don't think the advisors choose you. I think you just match them to whoever, what skill set they need and what's the best mentor for them, right?
Yeah, and when someone comes to me and they want help with, say, technology or marketing or any of these different elements, they need to work with a CPA. I'm glad to find them the ideal mentor and create a team, which you spoke about earlier. So you have the best circle of advisors around you to make certain that you're set up for the best chance at success.
What is so far the accomplishment you're the most proud of?
Oh, in my life,
Well, in business life.
in my business life, I'm most proud of my ability to, I think my secret power would be working with leaders and teams who come to me with a vision or a goal, and I'm able to very quickly assess what they're capable of and help them build a strategy for that, for making that, actualizing that vision. And oftentimes they exceed the goals that they first came to me with. And I've created some real success stories with leaders, and I'm very proud of that. I feel like that's my contribution. And also bringing teams together,
Yeah.
not only creating a strategy, but aligning groups and people, diverse teams, so that they can all hear one another and trust one another and share a common goal and work together, adapt and align so that they can collectively create that success story.
And that's not a one-time deal. Do you follow them as your protege?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, when I train a cook and became chef, I still follow them. So
Yes.
to make sure they keep on going, because it's like, your motherhood or your fatherhood, and you listen to that person.
How long have you been
Yes.
with the with SCORE? What does SCORE stand for again? I always forget. What's the acronym?
Society, I'd have to look on the
I have to look
website.
on the site too. I know it's been around forever, and it's a place you can go get free advice to help grow your business or to start a business. And you've got a wide variety of people there who volunteer their time. These are all volunteers, right, who come and give back to the community by doing this. How long have you been with SCORE?
I just started with SCORE this year. I
Oh,
was
okay.
invited by a gentleman named David Wild, who probably knows everyone. He's our outreach chair. And I joined an organization called EC of OC. That's the Executive Coaches of Orange County, which is also a gem of an organization.
Yes,
That's
right. We've had them on before too.
Yes, they should be coming back to speak with you because they're very special. But when I went, David also works for EC of OC, and he said, you really should think about bringing your talents to SCORE.
That's great. And you're going to receive an award, a 2025 award. Where is that?
That's an award created by one of our SCORE success stories. Her name is Nora Bichet. I believe her business is Nora Bichet NPB Design Studios. She's a designer from Egypt, and she came here and had a hard time assimilating with the culture, and she earned her master's here. But by joining SCORE, she found a very inclusive, supportive community to help her actualize her vision. And she created this She Makes History Award to recognize women who are leaders, who contribute to the community, who have a lot to share, and who need to be, come together. Sort of what we're doing. We have very similar vision with the Women in Business of Orange County initiative, making sure that women have the community and the support they need and the recognition to keep going, to have the confidence to take their dream and take it. And she's a woman who has incredibly big dreams, and I have her flyer. We'll have to share it later. She's accomplished a great deal in a very short time, and she has a dream of making this not only Orange County but a nationwide award that she gives out.
Does most of your client, but I would say the people that ask for your help have a dream, like you just said, and they have a goal, and how do you know when they really accomplish a goal they had in mind? How do you know that? Because sometimes you don't know what they want to accomplish.
Well, I think they're coming for the SCORE for some specific help that they think they need. Marketing, incorporating the business, getting it set up, writing a business plan, those kinds of things. So they probably have some idea in mind. They may not have it fully fleshed out, and then you guys help them figure it out, right?
Well, the greatest leaders are great listeners.
Mm.
And I believe that's essential. When you meet someone, rather than telling them what their dream is and what they can do, listening is a very critical component of how I start working with clients, and I find out what their dreams truly are and oftentimes what they think they can accomplish, they can't accomplish, but they really want. If I could only do this, I can usually help them map out a strategy to make that come true.
And it's interesting that you say that because I realize that you mostly oriented to female entrepreneur, you know, and it, I believe it is because by experience, I do think female entrepreneur are more ready to listen,
Yes.
and men think most of the men think they already know,
Yes.
and they won't listen to you. They don't need your help. It's like at school or college. And so you notice that in business because right now it's really in actuality. There is more and more powerful woman and a great powerful female entrepreneur.
And when I was young, my father was very unique. He said, "Someday women make the best leaders. Someday women are going to solve this."
Yeah.
So thank you for.
Well, you're welcome. And
What is the state? Somebody tweeted in a question. What is the state of female entrepreneurship? Because for a long time, it was pretty small the number of women starting businesses, and that's why so many groups have reached out and tried to form mentorship organizations, and I think of NABO and other groups like that, National Association of Women Business Owners and stuff, really trying to mentor and help other women either rise through the corporate ranks or rise up and do their own thing. What is the state of female entrepreneurship today here?
Well, that's honestly the reason that Women in Business was started by an incredible, brilliant woman named Martha Ryan, and she built this from so much hard work. She received a little bit of questioning, like, why is this needed? We already have SCORE. We don't need a separate group for women. But she worked so hard, and she brought in some incredible mentors at SCORE and some of the greatest minds. One is John Pietro. He was my advisor coming into SCORE, and I still work with him. He invited me to co-chair his CEO forum. But they worked so hard to build, another gentleman named Carl. They built this, and it became the largest event that SCORE put on, and really their flagship. This is these are the events we do. It was usually the Women in Business, and then all of a sudden the men were happy to join in. So, and it kind of changed a little bit, but that's what we're bringing back, because women, if you study where women leaders are, it shows that women make incredible leaders, and they build these inclusive cultures where people learn from each other and hear. But the percentage of women who get into that mid-level of management are maybe 30%, and then getting into that next, that highest rank of senior level leadership, it drops to about 5%. And that's where one of the groups we're targeting, demographics we're targeting, are these women who are incredibly savvy and educated, and they haven't been able to rise to that level. And they have a great idea. And sometimes the only answer is starting their own business. So we built this community and this circle so that they can come and find the support and the community and the confidence they need to make their dream come true, because oftentimes the world doesn't want to hear about that, and it's not welcome.
So you mean because they are female, they need to be more on power to make sure they dominate our situation. And then a quick question is very personal, but why do you like me?
Oh, why do I like you? Okay, that's going to take up the rest of the show.
Oh my goodness, it'll take forever here, right?
I love Pascal.
First of all,
and I
you're
miss
assuming
him
she
so
does
much.
like you. Maybe she doesn't.
knows
though.
I
I
do.
know she does.
When I first moved here from San Jose, I was kind of heartbroken. I was like a fish out of water. I felt so out of place. And then I found your épicerie one day. I was driving, and I walked in, and it was like magic. And I said, okay, I'm home.
Oh, that's good.
And that was always this beautiful place of, I was almost like a kid in a candy store coming there. And then I learned, over time, you had the best wine selection in Orange County.
That does help.
I did learn quite a bit from you about wine and the people but also just about dining. And having learned, I was always fascinated with you and what you accomplished. And as a writer, I used to say, wouldn't it be so great, Pascal gets to actualize in his lifetime. He brings an art form and he brings so much love to his cooking and passion. And right there, he gets to bring people together and create this happiness and connect with who he's serving. Whereas with writing, sometimes you never hear from the person who reads your book, or it might be 20 years from now. So I was always fascinated with what you were able to accomplish. And then as I learned more about you, because I was so fascinated with what you brought together there, I learned that you brought French food to Orange County.
Absolutely.
And without you...
And fine dining. I mean, we kind
Yes.
of really, this was, I won't say a cultural wasteland, but it was suburbia. It was
Yes.
fast food. It still is a lot of that. And he was among the first few chefs to venture here and say, no, we're going to bring places you'd see in New York or
And
San Francisco.
I'm
or
not done
LA.
yet.
You're not done
Yes.
yet?
No.
Absolutely.
Nope.
Well, she brought you a bunch of toys and stuff here. What's in all the bags here? What do we got? You're trying.
Oh.
I gather she does like you because she's bringing tribute
I know.
to the king. She's bringing some of your favorite wines, I guess,
Good
which is
wine. It's a Bordeaux. It's a very special wine from the Bordeaux region.
what? Is this the Chateau de Piet?
Saint Julien, is that...
Yes, and it's a Saint Julien 2018, very good vintage. And it's poivre. It's really good. And whoever want to share that with me, just let us know.
We'll just crack it all over, and we got another one. Then you got a red and you got a white.
This one is for RAAD, who will have to invite me back so that he
He
can,
can get his
receive
champagne.
gift, his
Absolutely.
champagne, because he and I have been pen pals for years, and we've joked for a very long time about having champagne. So
There you go.
There
I
you
brought
go.
him the champagne.
And you brought your book. So what?
Yes.
That has nothing to do with SCORE. That's your own personal project here. What is the book? And tell us about it.
This book is a collection of poetry that I published
Poetry, wow, okay.
over poems I had written for many years.
So you're a poet as well.
Yes.
But you started it. If I understood correctly, you started at Apple, working in PR marketing.
I started in a PR firm, the Silicon Valley's the top PR firm called Cunningham Communication.
Okay.
So
all right.
they served Steve Jobs and probably most of the greatest, the largest technical organizations.
What was it like watching that grow? Because I mean, Apple literally started in a little garage with a handful of people. Well, not a garage, but a small office or whatever. And I guess they did start in a garage, but then they eventually moved and became a company. I read stories or heard people talk about their first office, and it was just kind of a small little building, and nobody really knew what this was going to turn into. One of the, if not the largest, one of the largest companies in the world.
I don't understand what Steve Jobs had to do with poetry.
I don't either, or wine, or women in business, or any of this. I'm trying to find a common thread here. This is typical to RAAD show here. We're trying
Only in America.
I'm very eclectic, but
Yeah.
I do believe that I come from a region where, people have a vision or an idea and they make it come true.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're the last of the golden dreamers here in California. We're the people, we're the most daring. My parents came here from New York. They were drawn here.
I don't think we are. It's up to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we can mentor some new generation. And then they are the dreamers as well. And
Yes.
because they're more individual, it's not like a mass group, but there is still, because when I teach, I can see some of my students have big dreams, and we are here to help them. And to go back to, because the show is all about culture and art, and you really understood, and I didn't do that on purpose, but I was not a business person first. I just brought my knowledge, my culture, and share it. And I think when you have that, you already have a good chance to win. Is that correct?
Yes, that passion. If you can bring that and you have the support. I believe in California, we're in a unique place where you can take a dream and bring your passion and find people who will hear you and believe in you and support you in making that vision a reality.
The beautiful thing about, like you say, being in California, if you have a dream and a business idea, something like that, it's, I won't say it's easy, but you can make it happen.
Yes.
It's, if you go in Europe, there's more condition, more liabilities, something like that. But here, if you know what you're doing, there's a good chance you're going to succeed.
That's very true. That's very true.
I grew up in the Midwest, and I went to a party years ago, and somebody came over to me and said, "Oh, you're that guy from California." And I thought, "Oh, here we go. You're going to tell me about how crazy California is. You know, it's all fruits
Well,
and
look
nuts
at the
and
way you
flakes."
dress.
I know, exactly.
You like a dude.
I like to dress like a dude. I dress like I'm still in college here. And anyway, I was prepared for all the stuff because they love to
That's
bash
why we don't have
California.
a camera on Paul. You know?
No, no, please. And they said, "No, I wish I could go to California." I said, "Why? Everybody in the Midwest hates California. You only have to read any stuff. It's crazy. It's kooks. It's weirdos. It's wackies. It's all stuff." And he said, "Because I really feel like you can try anything."
Yeah.
And here, I said, "What do you do?" He said, "I worked for the same job my dad did, my grandfather did. You know, I'm not necessarily sure that's what I wanted to do, but it was sort of laid out for me. There was a path already there. Sometimes I wish I could just jump off that path and try something new." I said, "Well, that's why we all go to California, to try something new."
That terminology about this is a land of opportunity,
Yeah.
that's really real.
It really is.
It is.
Yes.
It's
And it
very
doesn't mean
real.
it's all going to succeed, but you can try.
you can try.
And I remember that years later, my late father came out here. He was a corporate executive for Chrysler, and he worked his way up from the factory. And he only worked for one company his whole life, Chrysler Corporation. From the time he was a kid in the factory to after World War II, coming back and getting into sales. And he came out and he said, "Everybody here is an entrepreneur. Everybody here has got a dream. Everybody, don't any of you just come out and just start working for somebody and work there for 40 years? I said, "No, not many. It's a different world out here." Because people don't, if you say to somebody right now, I'm going to write a poetry book, people know, scoff and go, "Oh, come on, what do you know about poetry? You were in PR, or you were a chef." But here, everybody goes, "Oh, that's cool. You're going to write a poetry book on top of everything else you've done."
You need to have some poetry in your life. You know?
Well, I
Yes.
agree. But
And-
but you need to have support to try those things, whether it's organizations, I'll bring it back to the women in business councils and stuff, that will support your dream, or just people around you in the community that say, "Go for it."
I like poetry, but I don't know how to write it. And so I believe, you know, my poetry is incorporated in my life.
Mm,
And
in
talking
your
about that,
work, yeah.
you have a publishing company that you create,
Yes.
and you even offer me to help me with my cookbook. And if we can add, well, I forgot I was going to bring my first chapter, but
okay.
maybe there's enough poetry, but maybe we can add some to it.
So do you have your own publishing
Yes.
company or probably brand, imprint or something here? What do you?
Yes,
Are you a
we're
publisher as well?
we're a small publishing house, and I started an organization called Poets and Dreamers in 2001 because I had earned an MFA way back when, and it was very much what we've just talked about. It was very competitive and combative. And when you went to the people running it, they said, "Well, this is the way it's always been done. You can't do anything different." And I've had spent a lifetime people saying that can't be done. It hasn't been done that way. And so I created this organization to prove absolutely it can be done. And writers can come together and believe in one another and support one another. Excuse me, just the way that women can. Diverse groups of women can come together and support one another. So this very much leads into the work I'm doing now. I was able to create an organization where people from all over the world came together to publish their work. I had an incredible photographer from New York who's actually the jewelry designer who designed Simon Alcantara. He designed Meryl Streep's jewelry and Devil
Wow.
Wears Prada. He contributed the photographs, and
The
that was
Devil
the-
Wears
I want to
Prada.
wear
There we go.
something.
Hey.
I want
Yeah.
to wear, can you design something for me?
I don't
Yes.
think that says.
Simon, if you're listening, we've got the legendary
Yes.
chef Pascal Olhatz from France.
I'm looking
And-
for a little goat to put
Well-
right
The
there.
old goat.
You
Yeah,
will,
right.
You will love Simon. He's very much like us. He's very much a dreamer, and he's been important.
And this
on my
was a
path.
coffee table book kind of thing where you showed stuff. What was the book you published with him?
With him. No, I didn't publish a book with. That was an online literary journal. It's
Oh,
still,
okay.
Yeah, it's still online, and we had the poet laureate, previous poet laureate of the United States, Juan Felipe Herrera.
Wow.
He wrote a poem for us, and Reina Grande gave us her first chapter of her new book before it was published. A lot of people came together when they saw what we were doing about uniting cultures and continents at a time when there was so much division. And art transcends that, and cooking does too. It's something Anthony Bourdain brought to us. He brought us together through his art form, which was food and cooking. Poetry does the
And
same thing.
traveling on culture.
Yes.
And we felt like we were sharing his experience with him.
Yeah.
Yes.
He made it accessible to everybody. It wasn't just for a snooty group of people.
Yes.
He made it very ordinary and fun to go
Well,
try
Well,
fine dining.
Julia Child did that a little
Same
bit.
thing.
Yes,
Yes.
same thing. And now Stanley Tucci is doing the same
Yeah,
thing. as
Stanley
well.
Tucci with his whole series. All right, so I'm still trying to find the thread here. You were in PR,
Okay.
you were in PR, and then you got into an online publication, and then what other way stops along the way here?
Marketing for organizations like Baxter, which is now Edwards Life Scientists and Sciences.
Yeah, huge, right
But
around the corner.
Yeah, and then I started my own, I started having kids, and I took what I learned from PR and strategy to my clients. A lot of them were referred to me, leaders who wanted to get ahead on their paths, and maybe, this is a an aside, but maybe enter the nation's top MBA programs, and some have gone on to do incredibly well.
That sounds more
after
like
working with
coaching,
me.
personal coaching.
Yeah,
right?
that was consulting and then coaching, but mainly what I've done is empower leaders, empowering and uniting. And part of what the thread with Poets and Dreamers and SCORE Orange County Women in Business is exactly as Pascal just said. You don't have to be, we're not an exclusive subset. Poets and Dreamers was all about, it doesn't matter if you have a big degree or, you've published work. If you have a dream to write, you're part of us. You're one of our circle, and you have the support you need. And the same is for women in business and really all entrepreneurs in Orange County. We're not exclusive. If you are someone who has a dream and you have a business, or you're an entrepreneur and an inventor, you're part of our circle. We've built this community.
You're in the club already. Here.
You are part of this is your community. This is your circle. And we're throwing the best party in town, and we're inviting everybody,
There you
including
go.
the two of you, on
Yeah,
October
mo-
10th, right here at UCI.
So tell us about that event, October 10th, here at UCI's Beall Applied Innovation Center, where our studio is located. A place
Yes.
not many people really know of or probably have come to. It's the place where, like most colleges, they have some place where they're trying to take technology and turn it into something. So it's on the edge of campus. It's in the research park here, next to Medtronic and other things. And they have a huge event space downstairs, which I don't think gets used enough for the outside community here. It's mostly UCI events.
And the good thing, I just learned they're going to ask for my help for the kids.
That's why I think the connection is they want you to cater this thing.
Thank you.
If we're fortunate enough to have Pascal join us, it's going to be an even better party. What better could you ask for at a party than Pascal, the legendary Pascal?
And is it an all-day conference? What would we see if we went there?
It should start around 9. We're still finalizing the details on that, but we will have speakers, panels, business incubator, speed networking, a financial literacy workshop.
All
we're
needed
having lunch,
ingredients for
hopefully.
women entrepreneurs here, right?
Yeah, women and men though. Please
Oh, it's-
don't
okay.
feel excluded. If you're a man with a
dream.
a dream of
That was my
business.
first question, man. You said no. You can come and you can invite other male entrepreneurs as well. So
Mm-hmm.
what's next after that?
Well, what's next? Oh,
And
Lots of
because
dreams. I
it's an
have-
ongoing initiative with
You're-
the SCORE, right? This isn't just a one-off event.
no. In fact, we're expanding the Women in Business initiative, and it's traditionally been a breakfast. It was started by a lady named Martha Ryan. I believe I mentioned her earlier, and she had a very similar vision. She now is very active in EC of OC. And so I was able to call on her, since I'm part of her organization, and she was so kind, and brings so much wisdom to, and she's very generous in sharing her advice on how to build this back into what it was with her original vision. So we've put the breakfast on hold. We're starting with this large event. This is going to be the beginning of an annual event. and we'll see, how that goes. But we're building our community, and then we will have monthly networking mixers, and we'll start the breakfast again. But we're really building this inclusive community, and
And all that will be connected with UCI.
No, the UCI
No.
just has the space here that they're
Space.
just renting it. Yeah.
Okay.
we're fortunate to have some connections here
Sure.
who are very kind, so we were able to
All right.
make it
Fantastic.
happen here, which was kind of a dream come true in itself, because it was one of those people said, no, can't do it. And I said,
Well, because
oh, yes, you can.
this center is primarily here to promote and develop UCI intellectual property. So the research being done on campus, they're trying to either license it or turn it into businesses. So there's lots of incubators and accelerators and stuff here, as you'd imagine, mostly med tech. And they have this great event space, but it's mostly, it is available to the open public, but they don't go out and advertise it. And so most of the events that are held here are the School of Nursing, the School of Engineering, whatever. It's usually for UCI events. It's not often they bring in outside groups and let them use the space. And I think it's a shame because it's a spectacular space.
It is truly spectacular space.
Well, except this little studio, I think we're going to make it bigger. So.
Well, this isn't representative of all that. Yeah, exactly. We're just here. Well, I think it's an amazing story that I don't think enough people know about, that SCORE does to start with. And I didn't know that they're taking on a women in business initiative to specifically target women who want to start businesses, because I've always been told it's a pretty small percentage of entrepreneurs that's women. I don't know why that is. You could explain better than I if there's still barriers or women. I've always heard it. We've had some, we did a show for years with Patty Grimm, who was a former vice president for a big shot at Microsoft, and used to report to Steve Ballmer. And I think she ran Microsoft Asia or something. And she later became a consultant. It was about breaking the glass ceiling. And she said there just still are too many barriers for women to get to the upper ranks, whatever it is, whether it's women themselves or men holding them back or whatever it is. There's still too many glass ceilings that we're trying to break through. We're trying to break through one again politically here and trying to get, and maybe we'll see the first women president this year. Maybe not. I don't know. But the fact that we're having this conversation still amazes me. I thought all those barriers would long since be down.
Either you have you're an expert on this thing, but it doesn't matter. It will matter for sure. But the fact that she's into the loop, that's really a big accomplishment.
Yeah, and at the same time, here we are in the 2024, and we still haven't seen a woman. We haven't broken through that barrier yet in this country. They have in other places around the world, but not here. So what is it that still holds women back? And I know we only got a couple of minutes left here. What is it? Is it lack of support? Is it lack of opportunity? Is it lack of capital? Is it lack of confidence?
I think that's the males.
Yeah, it's
a male
fear.
issue.
It's fear. And if people can learn how to listen to one another and create cultures of trust, which is part of what I do professionally, if you come together and actually hear one another and you bring these diverse circles together, and that's what my father taught me, learned at the University of Chicago, the real magic comes with diversity. When you bring cultures together and people from all over the world who are willing to listen to one another and actually trust and learn.
And learn from each other.
Yeah, and learn from each other. Absolutely. You can create a culture where the magic and the transformation is possible.
If RAAD were here, he would say, I'm sorry to cut you off, he would say something like, he said it many times, that a fabric woven with more cloth, more fibers, is stronger.
Absolutely.
It's not only more colorful potentially and more attractive, but it's stronger the more you weave into it. Yeah.
Yes.
And everything we've talked about is the spirit of SCORE Women in Business. That's how it was started, and that's where we're taking it. This is just the beginning, but it's you are the more diverse people we can bring together, thought leaders and change makers, to actually come together and honor their differences and hear one another. That's where we're going to make some progress, and we can put SCORE Orange County. We've already been the chapter of the year 2 years running, and this is just the beginning.
So you're one of the leaders in the country.
I've always heard that this chapter, I don't know how many chapters there are around the country, but this is one of the bigger and better ones.
Yes, and I hope you invite
No ego.
no ego.
No ego.
I hope you invite our chair, Amin Khalifa.
That's why I was going to ask you.
Yes.
Please feel free, if you want to bring a a leader or upcoming leaders into the show, and to see really how is your network, how you're
Yes.
working. I think would be great.
I know so many incredible leaders, but change makers and thought leaders are my people.
Right.
But absolutely, Amin, our chair, is very forward thinking. He's incredibly well read. He's a great speaker. He gets things done. He makes things come true. And he's very involved in the community, as is his wife. They're constantly working to empower their community and serve. And so he's brought so much to SCORE. And I know you're going to have an incredible conversation with him. And also John Pietro. He's one of our greatest mentors.
I would love to meet him.
Oh, you two will become the best friends because he does food marketing. He's had a long career in food marketing, and if you cook for him, he'll be your best friend for life, and he'll give you all the greatest advice.
You work for food.
He'll
If
work
you-
for food.
If you take I've seen so many incredible success stories come from John Pietro, who, by the way, ran a workforce in the 80s, and he had half of his workforce was women.
Wow,
And he's
that's unusual,
always been, so he's part of the spirit of what we're doing here with women
Well,
in
it's
business.
not really that unusual. It's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice, but
As
a
an
choice not many
entrepreneur.
made for
Yes,
many
exactly.
years.
And so, is there the best way to know more about what you do? A website? Or?
Yes.
Yes, I shared it with RAAD. We have a QR code for our event. We're still, adding details by the day because it's all coming together magically. It's one of those visions and ideas, and we're going to make it
I
come
can
true.
help you. I'm good at putting events together.
Okay.
I think you just got a job. Yeah.
Yes. So we have a website, and I can share it. Hopefully, we can share it as an add-on. I sent it to RAAD.
Can
and he
you
may have-
can you just say it out loud here for those that are just listening? We can.
Let me see if I have.
If
the
not, we'll go
URL.
find it here.
Yes, and we have a code because people have been asking. And by the way, if you're interested in joining us to volunteer for that day to plan our event, you're more than welcome.
Is there a
And-
cost? I'm assuming there's a cost to attend the event.
There will be, but we're trying to keep it as a nonprofit organization. Our goal is to create a community that's going to empower and unite women business leaders, entrepreneurs. So we're keeping the cost, as reasonable as we can so that we can, it's going back to, this is not an exclusive thing. We want everyone to be welcome and included. So that's part of what our goal is. The event page should be score.org/Women in Business Forum. I'm sorry, score.org/Orange County/OC Women in Business Forum.
And that'll take it to the site.
October 10th.
Yes, October 10th. I believe we'll start around 8 or 9. We're still
And
finalizing.
it's an all-day event.
All day.
And there'll
Come
be
and-
food, there'll be fun,
Yes.
there'll be featured speakers, and it's all about building a community to support women in business.
Fantastic.
business innovation, business leadership, how to build better cultures, how to become more financially
Wow.
savvy.
Community.
Community, absolutely. This is your circle. So please be here
I had
with us.
more question about community, but we save that for next.
We'll save that for
Okay,
next time.
next time when RAAD comes in and
Yeah.
we can give him the champagne, we'll talk again.
Okay. Thank you for sharing it
Thank
on
you
our
very much.
community
Thank you so
station
much.
here
Welcome.
today.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Hang on. There you have it. One more reason to tune in each and every time to the RAAD Life. You hear about the people who are making this community a place to grow for all of us. Culturally, interesting, business, all that and more. Right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studio here at the University of California, Irvine's Beall Applied Innovation Center with the last word to Chef Pascal.
Togetherness.
To what?
Togetherness.
Togetherness. All right, I like that. Well, join us together each week as we share this togetherness with everybody.